40% podcast. I'm 40% podcast. You know I'm 40% podcast, baby. You know I'm 40% podcast. You know I'm 40% podcast, baby. I'm only 40%. Go. 40% podcast. I'm 40% podcast.
Hello. Oh my God. Hold on.
We're keeping it in. We're keeping this all in. What is that? What did you just drink? Don't tell people. They haven't paid for the show. Don't tell people.
It's ginger. It's ginger shots.
Well, the the state of ginger can send us a check for that free press. Go ahead.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jinkx Monsoon, and welcome to a brand new episode of I'm 40% Podcast. With me, as always, is my best friend, the little shit that I call my son when I'm in drag, and the co-writer of my new show, Everything at Stake. It's Nick Sahoyah.
Hi. How's the show going? You're on tour right now. How is it? Are the jokes good?
Yeah, I actually am nervous because you know how it is. When we write together, I take it on stage and then it morphs into what it is, you know? So a lot of the jokes are intact, but a lot of the jokes have been tiny little alterations to the jokes have been made. But I have to. Kenny even said they saw my face the night I used one of your jokes that I was not sure of, and it got a huge laugh, and my face went, ooh.
I know my
so
stuff.
I'm very excited for you to see it in LA.
Well, are you doing the thing that we agreed upon where whenever you do use one of my jokes after everyone laughs, you say, that was Nick. Nick wrote that one.
We never agreed upon that.
That wasn't my writer. You don't read the contracts you sign, apparently.
You did. There was no contract. This was all verbal. We're very bad business people.
Yeah, we're not good at this. I smoke too much weed.
No, the show is going great. The audiences have been incredible. I feel very, very proud of the show, and thank you for co-writing it with me because it wouldn't have gotten written to the level that I think it hit. It would have been much more rudimentary, let's say, if I hadn't had the foresight, really. So thank me. No, Nick.
I have no strong feelings one way or the other.
Nick, it's very good, and I can't wait for you to see it.
I'm very excited to see it. Everyone buy tickets. My lighting's too spooky. I'm going to open my windows. This is a really, stripped back episode. This, MTV Unplugged.
I know. I'm feeling really self-conscious about the fact that I didn't have time to dry my hair before we started filming.
My hair was also not dry.
I almost was another 10 minutes late so I could dry my hair because when we were filming All Stars, every morning I would go to the set with my hair.
Again with the orphanarium.
I would go to the set with my hair wet, and then I would blow dry it there after it had air dried some, so I didn't have to put so much blow dry heat on my fragile baby doll fine hair.
This is creepy.
And one morning, I came out of my room and Monet said, Jinkx, your hair is sopping wet. White people are the only people I know who will leave the house with drenched hair. What is that? and then I thought about it, and yeah, what?
Okay. Hi, Monet. Come on the show. I just saw Monet's show at the Dynasty Typewriter that our good friend Ben de la Creme directed, and it was very funny. So if you live in Scotland, go see Monet's show.
At the Edinburgh Fringe Festival.
We have listeners in Scotland. We must.
We must.
Simply must.
Yeah, I had a great time at the Fringe Festival last year. I can't wait for Monet and Patty, Monet's business partner, travel associate.
I know who Patty is.
The two of them, oh my gosh. The Edinburgh Fringe Festival The Edinburgh Fringe Festival is just getting a bunch of horny, mostly queer artists in one space, giving them a bunch of booze. It's a bunch of cats and heat. That's what it is. Go see the Edinburgh Fringe Festival with Monet Exchange.
Maybe you'll have sex with her, according to Jinkx.
All I'm trying to say is you can get down in Edinburgh town.
I used to do a lot of comedy festivals, and I never once got laid at a comedy festival.
That's on you.
I got laid. That's not true. I had sex with people while I was at comedy festivals. Just I never hooked up with a fellow artiste. You're making it sound like that happens.
No, I mean that does happen, but not for comedians.
Comedians definitely fuck each other. I just have higher standards than most of them.
I beg to disagree. It's funny whenever you're like, I didn't have sex here. No, that's not true. I had plenty of sex, because if there's one thing I've known about you, you can't swing a arm without finding someone who wants to do you. You check a lot of boxes.
I don't have any comment.
You're somewhere in the middle of everyone's Venn diagram.
Lots of people are in love with you. You want me to talk about that? Everyone wants
but only bi-curious men
bits.
with mommy issues sleep with me. So
should we talk about Futurama?
Yeah, probably.
There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on in the world.
We should preface.
We should preface. So, strike. We're on strike, so...
I'm not technically on strike because I have not been invited to be in the guild yet, but hopefully one of these days I will be invited to strike.
But you are definitely in solidarity, and you definitely are not trying to shoot yourself in the foot for your chances for the guild. So for anyone listening, we have triple checked, we are going to continue with the podcast. However, don't be surprised if there are certain tonal shifts. Don't be surprised if we omit certain details. Don't be surprised if we lean into certain topics that might pop up while we are discussing the brilliant writing and voice acting.
There's some stuff that very neatly ties into exactly what's going on with the strike right now, because this is an episode about streaming.
Yes. So yes, we are going to continue I'm 40% podcast, but as I'm 40% podcast does not directly share profits with anyone involved with any
our
big
meager
companies.
profits.
Our meager profits. This is an independent project that only benefits the two of us, Studio 71, and not lucratively at that. So
and Disney doesn't get any of this. And in fact, I think Bob Iger, the Disney guy.
Yeah.
There's actually one sec. I'm gonna just go ahead and hit this.
Good news, everyone!
We have a story. It's out of BBC News, and apparently Bob Iger is a little bitch.
That's
what it says.
It
says it here. They are reporting that Bob Iger is a little bitch, and the reason he doesn't pay his writers and actors fairly is because he's a little bitch. And when reached for comment, his wife, Mrs. Iger, confirmed that yes, indeed, he is a little bitch, and the only reason he came out of retirement is because she didn't want him around the house anymore. So we have confirmation for a direct source. But there's some more news. This is out of Al Jazeera US, very, very good news source. They say a cure for being a little bitch has been discovered.
Jesus Christ.
You can stop being a little bitch the second you pay your fucking employees. So there's hope for Mr. Iger.
Did you write all this down? Was this something?
I don't write. I'm not a journalist, okay?
Show me your hands.
This is in the news.
What's in your hand?
This is in the news.
What?
This is in the news.
Did you work on this prior to this recording today? Is this part of your type 5? What's going on here?
The news segment's over. I don't know what else to tell you. Do you have any comments on the news?
I feel like there's more news, but I can't remember any of it. So, should we do this? All right. So, Nick is the little shit that we all know and love him to be.
You gotta come up with a new thing
What,
you
don't
call
like
me.
little
You
shit?
say little. You just say it too much. If that was one of
No,
three things,
it's just so perfectly sums you up. Little shit. He's a little shit. Yeah, he's a little shit. I love it. Anyway, hello everyone. Today, Nick and I will be joined by no one because this is a big enough deal that frankly I didn't want someone else's opinion here. I especially didn't want someone who possibly doesn't give a shit. I mean, I give a shit. So
I give a shit.
So Nick and I are flying solo today. We're flying duo. We're two of a feather.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be reviewing the
Impossible Stream.
Yeah.
Season 11 is what it's being called.
Now, I knew that they were going to make jokes about being rebooted. They do it every time they're rebooted.
Yes.
I was very excited to see how they did it. What I liked is that the whole episode is about it.
Yeah. Yeah, they get all the jokes out of the way. They really, not in a bad way, they wring every joke you can get out of that reboot premise. And
exactly.
it's wonderful. It's a very fun episode. And you should steal it if you can. Don't give any money to Disney.
The entire episode is just very, very good. And it's so crazy when you realize that because of the nature of animation and how long it takes, this episode was probably written a couple years ago, recorded a couple years ago or a year and a half ago, and has been animated since then. That's what's crazy sometimes when it feels like animation is like speaking to what's right now, but actually it was prescient. They were
ahead of the curve,
it.
Man.
And Futurama, I don't think, has ever been afraid to lampoon the industry. And it feels like, I mean, we know that there have been growing tensions within the Writers Guild, within SAG, because of things. And, in this last year, it's like, it got to be too much. It's not like these things haven't been happening for a long time. It's just that this year it was like, all right, we gotta have to pull the plug here somewhere and talk about this. So it's really cool to see this episode right now, knowing that it was like made probably over a year ago.
This is just like when Wig Loose, the episode aired during the track. Are you okay?
Oh my God! So much bad stuff happened all at once. Oh my God!
Are you okay?
That was so funny that I spat up all my Red Bull and then I spat it up into my purse.
If you're not watching the YouTube version of 40% Podcast, you're only getting half the story. Well, I guess I'll fill time by hitting different sound buttons.
Yoo-hoo! That was terrible. Oh my God.
I'm going to allow this.
That was the worst thing you've ever done to me.
Interesting if true.
When you said wig loose.
You go, girl!
When you said wig loose. Okay, go on. What were you saying?
Shout out to Lucy LaDuca. Come on the show. We love you. Should we get into it beat by beat? I think it's time. We're going to go from the top. There is a cold open. What? This is why I do this introduction. Sometimes there is one. There is one. We find ourselves exactly where the previous quote-unquote series finale left us. Time has been stopped. And the professor is doing a little narration of where we left off. Fry and Leela are the only people not affected by the time stopping. So they spend a whole life together.
Sure, real
until
quick.
The professor shows up.
Right away, now, just real quick, right away you can hear that Billy West, the voice actor, is aging because as he's doing the professor's voice, you can hear, it's kind of like Julie Kavner with Marge. Marge today, her voice is, and it makes Marge so much more heartbreaking because she's even more like, homie, please don't do it. Don't build the bomb, homie.
Yeah, you definitely hear it a little bit. I think I actually noticed it with his voice most of all.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, Fry
we're trying to
sounds
make
like
Billy
Fry,
West
but the
self-conscious, I
professor.
guess.
Oh no! I'm just saying. I don't know. It ingratiates me to the voice actors when I feel like we're all growing together. We're all aging together, you know?
So, as we saw the final moments of the previous series finale, the professor found them trapped in the future where time was still stopped, but they were old, and brought them back, but they would forget everything that happened. So they would forget their wonderful life together.
They didn't say that.
Yes,
They
they
didn't say they would forget.
Yes,
No,
they did.
when?
Have you seen the show Tamar?
I just watched it. They didn't
That's
say
the
that
whole
they'd
thing
forget.
is you'll get to go back and start your life again, but you won't remember any of this. And they agreed to do it
Oh,
again.
That was at the end of the last. Okay, sorry. Okay, go on.
And you were worried about having a non-Futurama fan on the podcast.
Shut up. I just thought, wouldn't it
The
be
gang
cool
is unfrozen.
if we didn't have to watch the Will They Won't They
The gang
again?
is unfrozen. The gang is unfrozen. And Bender does a fake out where he's like freezing again, but it's just for fun. And he says, "We're back, baby," and they are back, baby. Yay! And then we
Yay.
get the opening credits.
And it
We have a
says
Chiron.
Futurama avenged.
Yes, and I want to talk about this Chiron because the previous Chiron in the previous season finale that we were just talking about, the Chiron was "Avenge us!" exclamation point. So this is avenged. I give it a 5 out of 5. That's like a 8-year in the making joke.
Yeah, that's a good Chiron. You know, did they just
And
know?
it's made out of
did
blood.
did they just know that they were gonna be that there's no end to Futurama? We need it.
I think they're like it's Matt Groening, so if there's even a hint of people needing content, yeah, they're gonna bring this back. I think they had an idea. So I noticed some differences in the intro. The only one that I could really pinpoint is when this Planet Express ship is flying towards the end. You see Bender dangling out the bottom. He's like hanging from that like magnet arm they sometimes use. And it made me want to like go through beat by beat and see what other changes are different. But I bet there's already like YouTube videos breaking it down. So I'll probably just steal it from them.
Okay, well,
I'll credit
I don't
them,
care.
but I will steal their work.
I like getting that stuff over time. Like you're gonna see it I don't know. We live in this luxury of being able to stop and record and freeze everything. What happened? You know, it used to be you had to wait a
You're the
week
one
and there
doing
was
a
a
type
ritual
5.
around it.
This is annoying what you're doing.
And what's the deal?
Computers!
There's 900 channels, and I swear they're all
My niece
just
and
playing
nephew never visit
different
me.
episodes of Friends.
They never call. I know. We begin at Planet Express. The professor has called a meeting, and he turns around, and his face is very wrinkled. He has new wrinkle cream that he puts on his face. And there's a meta joke that time is all messed up from Fry and Leela's actions in the series finale. So it's like both the past and the future. Are they older? Are they younger? Who knows?
But
science has no answers.
But we'll have to check the atomic clock. Okay, so there's so many funny jokes about the atomic clock.
many.
But first, I love this because they are saying the characters are both the same age, but they might sound older.
Yeah.
The time continued to progress, but also it didn't. Like, so now it's 3023 so that they can stay in line with the show's original premise of being 1,000 years ahead of where we are.
Yes.
So, sci-fi nerds, if you call us asking why the one bone sounds the same as the other bone on the scratchy xylophone, wizards did it.
A wizard
and
did it.
science.
So yes, they say, let's look at the atomic calendar, and Professor says, Hermes, move that. We see a big machine. And he says, move that espresso machine so that we
and
can
then
see
it
the
starts
atomic calendar.
making espresso
Right then.
right then.
Into a little styrofoam cup.
And then the atomic calendar is just
a paper calendar.
A paper calendar, booby girl calendar. Okay, so very
But
funny.
it has an atom in the middle of it.
Yeah. It's 2023, and now Fry is realizing that he has been unfrozen for 22 years and has done nothing with his
He's
life.
done nothing.
And this is, I was confused. I thought that they had some consciousness of, having grown old together, because Leela, one, I thought she was getting upset for a second because she was like, hello, I'm the thing you've been doing for 22 years. But then she was upset at Bender for not supporting Fry. Now, here's why I was hoping that they were just going to remember that they lived their lives together, is because I am so done with the will they, won't they, how do they end up together.
The will they, won't they is over. The will they, won't they is over. There's no will they, won't they in this episode.
They are together. I guess
They
before
were
they
together,
were frozen, they were
yes.
gonna get engaged.
Into the Wild Green Yonder ends with them kissing. They are dating, but it's rocky for like seasons like 6 and 7. And then by the last 2 seasons, they're fully a couple, and they're annoyed when people are getting in the way of their couple stuff.
Sure.
Boom.
Okay. I mean, they were gonna get married. They did. Okay. It's just all the erasing their consciousness of the.
Okay, here's one thing I will contend. Here's the one thing I will contend.
They did say they
should
wanted
remember.
to.
They should remember that they got engaged and were gonna get married. They should remember that.
Okay. Anyway.
So fine, a wizard did it. I need to get that sound bump. I know it's not from Futurama, but I got to put it on the soundboard.
So I do like that Leela is being very supportive of Fry, even though it's an idiot idea.
Well, we haven't said what the idea is yet.
Oh, you're right. And that's such a good Leela line. Okay, go on.
No, you go ahead and take it. You know what the idea is. Just finish your thought.
Moments later, they're all in the living room, the office living room, doing funny things. There's lots of funny things happening. But then Fry announces that he's got his plan. He's got his life goal. And he's going to watch every TV show ever made.
And I was watching this with my partner, Sergio, and he said, that's you.
And then Leela, what I love is Leela goes, come on, everybody. We need to support Fry. He just needs a little time to think. I'm sure whatever he comes up with will be great. She really builds it up, and he says, I'm going to watch every TV show ever made. And she just goes, ugh. I love Leela so much. I relate to Leela so much in this episode. More than in previous years. I feel more connected to Leela these days.
Well, since drag queens have been so influenced by Leela over the years, do you think that now that we're in this like post-awareness of the drag art form, do you think that drag influence is going to like push in towards Futurama and Leela's going to become even more like all you wonderful drag queens in this new season?
No,
really?
I don't think so. No, I'm joking. No, I do think so. I do think, knowing that, I would be worried if it were all the same writers who were writing at the beginning, because they'd be much older now and maybe not as in touch. But we had one of the fantastic Futurama writers, and she's fantastic. So I feel very, not to say anything against older writers, but I'm glad. What I'm trying to say is it takes a lot of voices in the room. The older writers who maintain the integrity.
Go croak already.
No, the older writers maintain the integrity of the show that was created, and the newer writers bring in newer voices and bring in what's going on in the world right now,
I was really pleased because if Futurama came back and was funny, I would just be happy. But it has come back and it is funny, and it seems to have also kept like the same tone. If it had a different tone, I would be like, oh, it's different, but it's still fun.
And that's
feels
what I
like the
mean
same
about
show.
bringing in new people. When you bring in people who grew up with the show, you know, like if they were to hire you, you would be like someone who respects the show, who has your own unique voice, and who loves the show enough to take it, you know, like to treat the writing process with respect. And that's what I think we're seeing in the new, that's my guess. I have high hopes for the future of Futurama.
No.
Because primarily because I met Ariel and she was so fantastic that I know that Futurama is in very, very good hands.
Yes. Shout out to Ariel. Great work on this episode. And speaking of funny things in this episode, I paused the cable as Fry was scrolling through the channels, and there was straight up like 100 funny like fake show titles. I didn't write them all down.
Stranger Fonts.
That was in the streaming app. On the cable app, there
I
was like even
Stranger
more.
Fonts.
I'll just say all of the ones that I saw that I wrote down. I have Everybody Loves Raygun, The Best Dental Dam Show, period, CSI SETI Alpha 5, Blaster Peace Theater, How I Met Your Smizmar, It's Always Sunny on Mercury, and Greenish. Like green dot-ish. Like blackish. And it's like a family of Kip's people.
That's all very good.
Good stuff.
I also liked the scary mirror. The scary mirror.
The scary mirror. And before we talk
and-
about the scary mirror, the only other thing I want to say about the streaming app is Fry signs up with an email that is panucciassistant@panucci's.com, which is so funny because the internet was really in its infancy when he was working at that pizza place. So the fact that they offered their employees emails is very interesting to me. And the server is still up, by the way. Let's talk about the scary door. What did you like about the scary door? It's obviously a mashup.
The scary mirror.
Yes, exactly.
It's a mashup
It's a
of
mashup.
the Twilight Zone and Black Mirror. And I
Yes.
like it because it's like, what does he say? A show that's kind of like shows that have come before it, but slightly different.
Instead of a book, it's an e-reader.
Instead of getting a phone call from the devil, you get a FaceTime from the devil. The devil part stays the same. It's the scary mirror.
And then we see the episode of The Scary Mirror, and it's a very douchey tech guy driving in a like self-driving car with an operating system called Sneery. And he's telling Sneery what to do, and she gets fed up with his bullshit. So she sucks him into the OS, and Sneery gets to come out and drive the car.
What
But
does
then
she
doesn't-
say? Now you'll. Oh my God! What is her line? She
don't know,
says
it's
something really funny.
The bit is like, now you'll respect
No,
me. By the way, how do you drive
now
a car?
Now you'll tell me where the nearest Hooters is, or something like that. She
okay,
says
yeah.
she's got a zinger. She's got a zinger, and then she goes, and also, how do steering wheels work? Oh, but she had a good zinger. I just can't remember it right now. I'm not the
it
Futurama
crashes.
historian. That's
It
you.
crashes, the car crashes, and we see back in the Futurama room, and Amy says, wow, whatever just happened really makes you think. Which is a perfect Amy line. She has another good Amy line that we skipped over when Fry decides to do this stupid I'm gonna watch every TV show thing. Amy says, you know, Kif has a single friend. His name is Zap.
I know. It was like I caught that, and they just moved on past it. I was like, oh no, does this mean Zap's gonna come into the other episode? I think it was just reminding us that Zap exists.
No, the joke is that Amy would want him. Anyway, I'm not gonna explain humor to you, okay?
I'm sorry. My brain is in 4 different time zones right now.
We watched the Great Neptunian Bake Off with Elzar and a big
Bam.
blob. Bam. That was pretty quick. And then we see a stand-up comedian robot, and he says,
Okay,
what's
this
the
is very
deal
good. I
with
remember. Let me do
robots?"
this. What's the deal with non-binary robots? And the audience starts booing, and he says, wow, PC crowd.
It's perfect. It's perfect. It's perfect.
I was nervous, honestly, when his joke setup started. I was nervous. I was like, "Where are you going with this?"
I really liked it. Fry reveals to the office that he has watched everything except for All My Circuits, which is gonna be hard because there's like 10,000 episodes, and it got canceled 3 or 4 times. So the parallels with the real life fate of Futurama begin here. And Fry's very sad that he won't be able to watch his goal. He won't be able to complete his goal. There's just too many episodes. It's pretty sad.
But is it?
It kind of is.
I like that this episode involves a lot of Leela being supportive and then being mad at herself for being supportive for something stupid. I think this episode teaches Leela that she needs to be supportive, but she also needs to, like, use her common sense, because, like, a big part of why Fry is still alive today is because of Leela, like, stopping him from accidentally killing himself, And this time, luckily, he didn't accidentally kill himself.
He didn't accidentally kill himself.
But he would have.
Well, we're getting ahead of things.
If
we want to see what happens in the middle.
Interfered. Oh my God.
No, actually not. But we'll get to that.
No, yes.
Normally we've seen these episodes 1,000 times. We've seen this. I've only watched this twice because I had to watch it once for fun and once to write everything down. So we might miss a couple things. No,
okay.
We have to say what the premise is.
I know. I'll give it back to you.
We haven't gotten
Nick.
to the premise.
Get to the premise then.
Okay, I want to. So, Professor or someone suggests that he could binge the show in order to complete his goal. And everyone gasps. Everyone's horrified at the thought. And they say, well, binging doesn't mean what it meant in your time, which is a very funny joke because binging didn't mean anything in 1999. So he says, oh, you mean like getting really drunk and like barfing?
Yeah, binging.
Yeah.
Yes.
Funny joke. But they reveal that binging in the future is where you put on these special goggles that drill right into your cerebral cortex through your temples, and it helps you watch the show faster.
Fry, don't do it before you make this grave mistake. Ow, my cortexes.
So he starts binging All My Circuits. It's sponsored by Honey Bunches of Springs. Everybody loves Honey Bunches of Springs except for humans. Fatal for humans.
It's fatal for humans.
So we watched some All My Circuits, which is always a treat. And Calculon walks in on...
He's resurrected. Oh, no.
Well, no, he's not resurrected because this is an old episode.
We need to keep this moving.
Well,
We're
girl,
like
I'm trying. You keep interjecting...
I know, but we need to get to the meat.
I actually think this episode's front-loaded and we're doing okay on time.
Okay.
So they watch some All My Circuits. Calculon is making out with Monique. And, no.
The
human is making out with a different robot.
That's later. She's making out with the beep boop beep.
The beep boop robot.
Yeah. What I love about this is usually when they're making out, it's their faces pressed together and they're just kind of rolling around because they're robots. This time it's just them going like this.
Yeah, smashing their faces into each other. It's very funny. And then Calculon bursts in.
The sound makes it so...
Calculon bursts in and Monique says, Calculon, but you weren't due back from the time travel convention until... And then Calculon says...
Yesterday.
Good stuff. We watch months pass. He watches about 50 seasons of All My Circuits. And he's watching a bunch of ads as he does so. I guess that's important. The professor checks his brain and determines that he's lost touch with reality and he can't stop binging. And if they run out of episodes, Fry will die, I guess.
No, he will become his consciousness will be severed.
His consciousness will be severed, much like
he'll be a
Leela's
zombie.
ponytail.
Much like Leela's ponytail. Leela freaks out because the professor cuts off her ponytail, and then he says, "Geez, Leela, it's just a metaphor. Don't take it so literally." After he's cut her ponytail off. And then
he says,
they realize,
"Let me put on my thinking cap."
Thinking cap, and it's Leela's ponytail.
So the plan becomes they need to bring back All My Circuits. And I guess we forgot to say he's in like a special chair. They put him in like a robot chair. So he can
he's in a
poop
Matrix
and eat.
suit. It's doing everything for him. Okay, so they realize they need to bring back All My Circuits. They find a streaming service that they
And we won't say what it rhymes with.
They find a streaming service and they say they'll bring back any old crap. Like they'll reboot any old crap, which is a burn on the streaming service and of course Futurama itself because but we love Futurama.
But it works
for
because
that.
this is brought back, but it's not just any old crap. It's Futurama. It's great.
Yes, and Fry gives an impassioned speech at the end that really is, okay. But anyway, so they pitch.
They talk
the
to
show.
the Execubots.
The Execubots have always been written very funny as a lampoon on the entertainment industry and the people at the top who have no creative instincts, who are only in it for the money. These people, make decisions based off of what the numbers are, not what the art is or what the work or content is being
But also
created.
they make decisions based off what the numbers are, and then shows still fail. So I'm like, why don't you just let people do stuff and maybe something will be good on accident and be a hit, you know?
So
that's annoying to me.
The
but whatever.
Execubots have been this forever, but this episode really goes in on the Execubots. They roll dice to make their decisions.
Yes.
They make a decision and then immediately change their mind when they get new numbers. So
because Fry is buying things. They were saying people watched All My Circuits, but robots were the main audience and they don't buy stuff. But luckily, Fry is watching the old episodes and is just buying
and is a
stuff
human and is buying stuff. So
But
because
buying
his
robot
consciousness,
stuff.
buying a bunch of robot stuff. So anyway, the Execubots are convinced. They bring back All My Circuits, and now this is hilarious. From this point forward, I mean, yes, it does like move very, very fast, but basically from this point forward, it's predicting where we're at now. It predicted like the circumstances that led to the strike. So I'm going to let you take it beat by beat and I'll interject with like hoots and hollers.
They say there's one problem after the show is greenlit. There's one problem. The lead, Calculon, is dead. But the Execubots, it's no problem for them. They just call hell. And the robot devil answers. And he says, yes, you can have Calculon for scale plus 10. And he's not allowed to come back if he dies. Because the devil is just sick of Calculon.
Yes, and then
they put him in the resurrection cannon, which is just an old World War II cannon that shoots him back up to Earth.
And if we are getting like meta about it, it's also like the lead's dead. In this instance, the lead is the robot Calculon.
Yes.
But the answer when the lead dies is just to replace him with a robot. But the lead was a robot. But like
I didn't even think of that angle of it.
The nuance is not lost on me. It works on many levels.
Yes,
I don't know that it was meant that way, but my brain immediately went there.
And just to be clear, if people don't know sort of what that's in reference to, part of the SAG strike is that studios want to just scan an actor and be able to use their likeness for like a small fee rather than paying them to act, because AI, by the way, AI is such fucking bullshit. It doesn't do anything. It's a fucking parlor trick. People are like, oh, AI is gonna end the world. Guess what? 10 fucking years ago, you told me that self-driving cars were safer than real cars. Turns out they fucking kill people and they're never gonna be a thing. All of Silicon Valley can go fuck itself.
Yeah.
What was we were talking about a show? What's going on?
Calculon's resurrected. He immediately starts acting. He doesn't need much. He doesn't need much explanation. He goes right into it.
He goes right into it.
And then, but they immediately start hitting a problem because Fry is nearing the end of the season. So basically the circumstances are that they have to create a new episode every hour on the hour.
Yes.
So basically they have an hour to create a new episode and then they have to create a new episode. So they're in a perpetual state of creating new episodes.
And Professor says, if Law and Order can do it, we can too.
So,
really good.
Then, so they're doing this. This is an impossible task, but Leela's pulling it off because she loves Fry. Hilarious things are happening. But then somehow the dial gets turned on Fry's
It seems like Fry did it because his hand is near it. So like subconsciously he wanted more faster.
Oh, and we may have. So I think this is leading up to the episodes are now playing faster. The professor says this is a very precarious state for Fry's mind because Leela's like trying to figure out how they can keep up with creating new episodes.
They have to make 2 episodes an hour now.
And the professor says my consciousness is in a very precarious state. Any small change could be catastrophic. Even refilling the Dorito bowl could have dire consequences.
So they say, how are we going to do 2 episodes in an hour? And Calculon says, no problem. I can act at any speed. And then we see like a clip of what All My Circuits is like at double speed, where Monique is making out with Human Friend in the swan boat.
Oh, Human Friend, I can't believe I'm making out with you. Ooh, my Calculon's best friend. Calculon appears. Monique, I can't believe you're cheating. I can't believe you're cheating on me with the very same person I'm cheating on you with.
Oh yeah, then Calculon makes out with Human Friend, which I liked.
Then Monique says, Calculon, I can't believe you're cheating on me with the very same person I'm cheating on you with. And everything's going crazy and the boat sinks and it's everything's terrible. This is terrible. It's not
really
good
bad
content. And
but,
then they go check on the writers and all the writers are dead. So even the
because
writers...
Monique stops getting lines. Then apparently the writers are just typing this in real time at them.
The writers are all dead. So yet again, robot takes over for the
Ariel
writers.
Edinson, last week's guest. We see Ariel dead on the floor. Little Easter egg.
And then Bender takes over for the writers. So now it's robot actors, robot writers, and everything's coming to a climax. But the execubots come in and say, we have to cancel the show. It just doesn't work. It's terrible. Now that it's all just robots making everything as fast as they possibly can, the show sucks!
Yes. 2 very small things we glossed over that I will mention. They suggest that Calculon ad-libs when the writers die, and Calculon says, asking an actor to ad-lib is like asking a guy to 5. And then also important, Leela is the executive producer of the show, but also after the writers die, the director also has a heart attack and is wheeled off. So Leela is also directing. It's very out of control. But yes, they come and cancel the show.
They cancel the show. So the professor and Leela and all the actors from the show come up with a plan to try to save Fry's life by easing him back into reality, by like synchronizing reality with the episode he's watching.
Yes. So they have to go reenact the episode in front of the TV so that Fry can like ease back into reality. And there's a funny line here where he says, think of it as a theater for one unconscious audience member. And Calculon says, like the Milwaukee Shakespeare Festival. Just paints such a picture.
Oh, gosh. What I love is they are working very hard to ease Fry back in, apparently using live dynamite and grenades for the props. This causes an explosion.
Because of Bender's cigar. It was in the prop horse.
And then the suit, the Matrix apparatus that Fry is hooked up to is on fire.
It's on
and
fire.
Then it's on fire for a second and then just goes up like that. And I
No,
love...
what happens is it's on fire and then Amy tries to put it out with the 5-hour
that's right.
battery acid. It just
then-
erupts.
But then when it erupts, it just reduces to a pile of ash like instantly. And that's
It's
one
so
of my
fast.
favorite sight gags is when something just happens way faster than you know it actually.
So Leela mourns Fry. I mean, this has happened a couple times. So I think even in the back of her mind, she's like, maybe he's not dead.
Remember when she thought she ate him in a hot dog?
I honestly can't wait to talk about that episode. It's so dark, but I kind of love it.
Yeah.
a good
Okay, so Leela's mourning Fry, but Fry walks back in
And he says, I left 2 days ago. So I think the entire time they were doing this All My Circuits thing, it was completely unnecessary.
That's why the brainwaves were... That's probably why the professor was just reading the show, not Fry's brainwaves at all.
It could be that. Oh, that makes sense.
Anyway,
I thought it was maybe that when he got up, he moved
Wait
the dial.
a second. No. Fry left. No. Wait.
That's
Sorry.
what he says. He left 2 days ago.
He left 2 days ago, but then he goes on to say the writing started getting
You're
terrible.
right. He did see it.
He left because
So they were just doing that for days.
everyone.
Okay.
They were doing that for days. He left because it was so bad. It was unwatchable, and that's
And he
probably
says
why
the writing
that's
and the
why the execubots came in to say
Oh,
that
that
it's not
makes
working.
sense.
Is probably because Fry was the one viewer and he left.
And he stopped buying things.
Because
And it's very-
sucked. Because it sucked. Because it sucked.
It was
That's
bad.
what I want everyone
Robots
to
can't make
hear.
shit.
It sucked. Sorry,
but-
robots.
No,
if
they
any
suck.
robots are listening, no,
They
I
can't.
don't. We can live in harmony with the robots.
There's a very funny line when Fry is saying the show got bad. He was like, the writing and the executive producing just went so downhill. And you see Bender and Leela get mad.
So anyway, Fry's alive. We're set up for a wonderful season of Futurama. But at the very end, he gives an impassioned speech.
Yeah, we have like a fake out
ending. Did you write it down? Did you happen
I didn't
to
write down
it
the whole thing. He talks a lot about don't bring a show back unless the quality is there. My favorite line from the speech is he says, you must binge responsibly. People must stream no more than 10 episodes and no less.
No less.
Which is very funny because this is a 10 episode order. So eventually this will be a 10 episode binge. Very funny.
Futurama, you've done it yet again. Honestly, wonderful episode. It does feel weird to be reviewing a show while we're on strike, but as we talked about, you know, these are precarious times. Even refilling the Dorito bowl could have catastrophic consequences. So if you are with us listening to I'm 40% podcast, thank you so much. Please stand in solidarity with the strikers in any ways that you can. Mainly, I'm just asking people, don't spread misinformation on your
No.
socials. Don't pick fights with people. Like, just, you know, like,
and guess what?
let's
Don't be a
just-
corporate shill. Like, how about just side with the people who have no fucking money? Like, I hate this, like, me, Elon Musk fanboy mentality of, like,
And-
I'm gonna get a bunch of money one day, too, and then I'm gonna be a piece of shit, too. Like, no, you're never gonna get any money. There's no more money to be had because of the
There's
way
no more
things
money
are.
'cause they have
we
it all.
need to change things. You will never
Hey.
be rich.
And I do, I think it's tacky to talk about, like, I mentioned it earlier, you know, this is not a lucrative thing Nick and I do. We do this. I think it's tacky to say, oh, we're not making any money doing this, because I don't want the conversation of money to enter while you're listening to, you know, us talk about something else. But the thing is, Nick and I do this because we like doing it, and anytime we take a hiatus, people won't shut up about bringing it back. So I do this for y'all. So, you know.
And
a
we
lot
also
of
do this because
artists-
we
a
love
lot of
Futurama.
artists- Yeah,
We do
a lot
this
of
because we love
artists
Futurama,
are
and
doing
we
what
don't-
they do because they like it, because they know you like it. not because they're making any money doing it, you know?
Yes.
Artists do the work that they do because they would hate life otherwise. I am an artist because I would be miserable if I was anything else, honestly.
You can be more miserable than this.
Yep.
Yeah, and steal this episode, I guess, because the whole thing is all the wonderful voice actors and writers who we are rooting for in this situation are not getting residuals if you watch it on a streaming service. So I don't know, maybe unsubscribe from a streaming service. Take some money away from these people. Vote with your wallet.
Here's the thing that makes it all precarious, and then think of something, fun to end the episode on. But here's what makes it all precarious is that, yes, the instinct would be to cancel your subscriptions right now, right? Because you don't want to give your money to them. But however, if the numbers drop while the negotiations for the strike are happening, the studios can say, look, we don't even make that much money. Look, our numbers are down. Where are we going to get this money from?
Don't unsubscribe.
Because of you striking, now we don't have money to pay you. It's like, it's very important to support the work that's out right now. So then when no new work is being created, that's when they feel the sting. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but the numbers need to be accurate right now for the negotiations so that when they come to us, when they can't create anything new, when what's created already dries out and they come to the table to have a real conversation, the numbers will show that the creators, the content creators, that's what made them the money, When there's no more new content and they have no way to keep generating this profit, that's when they'll feel the sting. Anyway, Nick, thank you for reviewing the episode with me today. I love you so much. I can't wait to see you soon. Everyone, thank you all for listening to the latest episode of I'm 40% Podcast. We will have a new episode every Monday for you. So search for us on your favorite podcast apps. Hit subscribe. Other than
Stand
that,
with the unions.
Other than that, I hope you're doing well in these crazy, crazy times. And until next week, have a futuristic day, everybody.
Woo!
Wow.